Hey, Naldo, did you know that droids claim that they were harassed by George Lucas on the filming of Star Wars?
No.
Hashtag R2 Me Too. Let's start the show. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of FYC Film Review. That's a little droid humor to start your day. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host, Gagne. With me, my partner, Naldo. Are you okay, sir?
I'm
Did George
fine. I'm
Lucas mess
good.
with you too?
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit of what's going on, everybody. What's up, man? How's it going?
I could use me a nice little drive-in burger right about now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a classic, man. Let's just get into it. The year was 1973 when it came out, directed by Star Wars himself, George Lucas. The movie is American Graffiti. Never seen it. So this was just kind of a
Same.
treat for me. You've never
Yeah.
seen it?
No, I've never
Oh,
seen it. It's one of
okay.
those, yeah, it's one of those movies that's a classic, but I never watched, never had a chance.
Yeah, I mean, this movie I think it was more than just a movie. It was an experience. I feel like this movie was really an experience more than just a movie and a story. I felt like I was in that 1962 era. It was neat seeing all the cars, and it was all about the music, 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 music. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I feel a little it's extra special because of where it was filmed. George Lucas grew up, very close to, where we have lived and, we're born and raised. And so you're seeing
Yeah,
like, this life in the streets of kind of like a Central California kind of town where there's just not really a lot to do except cruise the streets. And,
yeah.
what do high schoolers do? And this kind of sets the stage for so many different directors doing their version of, last night of
Hmm.
summer, or last day of school, or whatever teen comedy you can think of. This really was the catalyst for that, and so you got to give him some credit, even if this movie's kind of uneven, in my opinion.
Yeah. This was like Cars come to life. This was like
Yeah,
Pixar's Cars come to life. It was just neat
yeah,
seeing everything. I mean, this movie could have been called Strangers Getting into Other People's Cars. Is that what they did in
yeah,
1962? Right? It was
yeah.
like, hey, get in my car, let's go on a date. Okay, get in my car, let's go on a date. Hey, you get in my car. I'm like, okay, this is
Oh,
kind
that's
of
a nice
weird.
car. Let me get in your car. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it
let
was
me feel your
weird.
upholstery. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
yeah, car culture, right? It's something that still is around, but I guess was a lot more prevalent back in the day when we didn't have other things to distract us.
Yeah. I wonder if this was a spinoff for Ron Howard and Happy Days. Because I mean Happy Days
100%.
was right. It had to be a
Yeah.
spinoff. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like it had to inspire it in some way. I tried to do some digging on that. I didn't see that, but like the fact that he's in it, the fact that this is all about, kind of that 50s, 60s era, diners, drive-ins, dives, not a Guy Fieri production, but
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
it definitely had that feel. Like as soon as it started too with the music and everything, I was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
this it felt like Happy Days.
And we get a very young Ron Howard of super young uh what's his name? Dreyfuss,
Yeah,
Richard
Richard
Dreyfuss.
Dreyfuss,
I
Harrison
mean, he looked
Ford,
Harrison Ford was 30 years old in this. 30 years
yes.
old. So it was crazy.
Cindy Williams, who plays Ron Howard's girlfriend in the movie, as well, goes on to, be on Laverne and Shirley, which was a huge
That's her,
successful show.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I was
So
I was watching the movie and I couldn't think of who she was. Okay.
yeah, so many young faces. This movie was a huge success. I'm sure it really tapped into that nostalgia for people who grew up in towns like this, where this was what you did. This is teen life in the 60s. Um,
Yeah.
I love the little, nods that George got in there. The yellow hot rod had THX
The
138 on
THX
it,
license plate. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty
so,
cool. Yeah.
there's a lot of good to this. There's also a lot of kind of weird, I think, time capsule lines that you're just kind of like, okay, this is a young George Lucas. Don't really know why we're making like jokes about crying out for rape. It just was kind of like some weird interactions, I think, and then maybe just didn't hit the same way because, well, we're 50 years,
Yeah.
gone, and you're like, is that a joke, really? Like,
It had to be. I mean, it was weird because she was like, I'll scream rape. I'm telling the cop you raped me. It was just like, wow, this is weird.
like you
You know
wanted to
who I
get in the
did?
car with him, and you guys were just riding
Yeah.
around. What?
Yeah. You know who I really liked though? I really liked Mud's character. I thought he was kind of neat. He was like this tough guy, but he seemed like he had a heart. He and this girl got in his car and he's trying to do everything to take her home, but he's trying to protect her. I don't know. I really liked his character. He was
That's true.
cool.
That's good. I
Yeah.
wonder if George thought he was that character, right? With
Yeah.
that license plate being on that car, like did George want to be that guy when he was probably more like Richard Dreyfuss?
Yeah. And Richard Dreyfuss' character was weird, by the way. He doesn't know what he wants to do. He ends up going to college in the end, but he ends up like joining a gang for the night and doing all these weird things. But you think he's a good guy, but I feel like he's not really a good guy. I couldn't tell what he was. It was very
Yeah,
confusing.
yeah, he just wanted to find the blonde girl in the T-Bird, and
Yeah.
that's I think one of my main issues with the movie, and felt why I felt kind of uneven is like nothing really happens. Like there's just
Right.
kind of it's just kind of an hour and 45 minutes to them riding around in cars, and
Right.
then
It's
a guy
cruising.
going, "I may leave, I may not leave, I may leave, I may not leave. Who knows? I don't know. You want to know?" Like, and just they're just I guess that there's that nostalgia for like, all right, high school and you just got out of high school and not wanting to grow up yet, and then but eventually he just
Yeah.
gets on the plane. So
Okay. You want to rate?
yes,
Okay. Let's rate.
all right,
Let's go with cars. We have to go with cars.
yeah,
Okay, let's rate, man. 1 to 5. One car really, really bad. 5 cars being really great. You want to
you're
go
going
first? I'm gonna
first.
go.
No, no, you
Ooh.
please take it away.
Okay. All right. From the opening of the movie, I felt like I was kind of going to enjoy myself. I really liked it. I like this era. I love the music. The cars are just. I mean, it was a time back then, and I just like seeing it. I'm gonna go with a 3. 3 cars for me. It's not a perfect movie by any means. It takes place in one whole night, so all this happens in one single night, and a lot of it is just kind of weird. Again, it's kind of a simple story, but it's a bit of a mess at times. So 3 cars for me.
That's a pretty solid number. I
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. I was a little less excited about it. I kind of was
Okay.
bored in some of it. I wanted more, I don't know, more story stuff, more stuff to happen. I loved some of the characters, but I didn't love all the characters. I'm gonna go with 2.5 cars.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Hey.
good entry, George. Never saw it. It was an entertaining movie. I think it definitely has its place in time and history, and obviously, made by the master. So I would recommend watching it. If you haven't seen it, it's one of those movies that you feel like you have to. It was produced by Francis Ford Coppola too. Like
Yeah.
this is it's just like a who's who of filmmaking in their early careers, and so it's worth it.
Yeah. I would say watch it, even if it's just for the cars and the neon signs and the music. I think it's a. I think you'll get sucked into it for, even just for a little bit. If you like that type of stuff, and I thought it was great. So 3 cars, definitely I recommend.
Solid review numbers from us. We appreciate you tuning in. This has been another episode of FYC Film Review, and I've been your host, Gagne. With me, my partner, Naldo.
Have a good one, everybody.